Okay, well, we're about ready to get started. Stripping down the primary completely down to the case to address the primary noise, which is what is called the 103 rattle. So I'll be working on the compensator and the compensator fix for this noise. So what I've done is I've got the bike on the jacks, got safety strap there and another one on the other side. I got it as high as it will go on the jack. I've prepared my workspace as much as I can. I don't have a lot of room, but it will do. My garage is a little full with toys, and you can see my trailer is now the catch-all, but I usually live with it, and a place for the bike. So I'm going to get started. I will drain the oil out, get everything stripped, get it prepared to disassemble, and I'll be right back. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, this is a test to see how this is going to work. So, got my shit. Got my oil. Got drained out. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this thing going here. All right. So I got everything loosened up. I got the oil drained out, and of course, I had to have my pipe come here because I thought it looked better and makes it a lot more difficult to get the passenger floorboard off. I got the passenger floorboard off. Got the rider floorboard off, gear shift off, of course. And I wanted to make a shout out to Mark Young and his channel Out of the Box, showing me exactly what's going on here. It was the best video I've ever seen on the compensator noise. I also I'll put a link on the bottom of this video for Mark's channel. And I also wanted to show off these fantastic mechanics gloves. You can see I've used them. The dexterity is just unbelievable and keeps your hands clean. You can get the smallest screw, whatever you want to do. So I'll also put a link on where you can get these, okay? They come in small, medium, large, and extra large. All right, so now I got the oil drained out. I got the cover plate, derby cover off. I've got them all loose. So let's pull it apart. By the way, I wouldn't recommend one of these putting them on. Just use them to take them off. So I'm going to start at the bottom first. Now this is the first time this has been taken off since I bought the bike, and I have been the only owner. So they must have put a lot of, this is really stiff. I mean, it feels funky. You must have put a lot of Loctite on it. But I mean, just be careful with it. It's scary. Just get them out. And there it is. Good idea to have a fan on the bottom like I did, just perfect size too. There is the primary chain. Set this here real quick so I don't mess it up. Okay, well, it doesn't look real bad. Looks pretty good. We've got a couple of marks here. I wanted to show you something also. My drain plug had a little bit more metal than I really like to see on the magnet. But it's not too bad, really. So, got a little bit. This is the Harley Davidson automatic primary tensioner, which I will be replacing with the Hayden. Now here's the test, and the compensator test. Oh, I can't even move it. I'll be the son of a gun. And you can see the compensator here. This is different than what I've seen before. That's for sure. This is definitely a different setup in the compensator than what I saw. So this is a 103. Obviously they have upgraded, and I've heard this rumor that when they went to the 103, they switched everything out to the Screaming Eagle compensator package assembly. And you can see the bell of the washers in the back. That is, I can't even move it. That is stiff. There's no slop in there. So where's all the noise coming from? See, it's tight. Also, this is a huge torque. Huge torque. I don't even have one that big. I'll be a son of a gun. That feels good. I don't know where all this noise is coming from. Everything looks damn good. It's only got 20,000 miles on it. So what I'll do then, I'm going to go ahead and remove the primary chain tension. Well, now maybe we can hear each other, hear me anyway. As I was saying before, I can't even move it. So there's no slop in the compensator, none. But there sure is a lot of noise in this thing, making just rock, it just growls like you wouldn't believe. So, what is it that's making all that noise? Everything looks clean. This whole assembly is definitely different than the 96 cubes. It is completely different. So they must be using, and I'll find out for sure, but they must be using Screaming Eagle parts when they went to the 103s. And that's the rumor that I heard. Well, I'll get right back with you. I got to do some studying and thinking on this one. But like I say, it looks good. So I will, I'll be back. We'll figure out what the heck is going on. Okay. So here is the stinking deal, my brothers and sisters. We'll go ahead. I removed the 2 bolts for the primary adjuster. Pull them out. And I'm going to remove the primary adjuster, which is completely automatic. You'll see that there's a spring, there's a shoe, and the shoe has ridges or slots in it facing each other so they interlock. So when the slack needs to be done, the spring pushes it out, goes over a clip, pushes up, but it will never go back. You see, you had to put the zip tie on to remove it. That is the trick from Harley Davidson, of course, tell you to do. So that looks absolutely perfect. There's not even any wear on it. Okay. Just funky wear though. Ooh, there is some wear. And it's funky wear. It's not smooth wear at all. It's tore up wear. How interesting. Well, I will be replacing this with the new Hayden primary adjuster designed just for this bike, the 103 V-twin. And it actually has some springs. It has the same principle, and it has some springs in it so that it gives a little bit on startup and shutdown. So we will be replacing this with the new, but I don't know if you can see that. Look at it. That wear is kind of tore up wear. It's not smooth wear. But I mean, there's plenty left, but still, that's funky wear. Anyway, we will be replacing that with the Hayden primary tensioner, and I'll go through that. Now, still, there's no slop in the compensator. Well, here's the deal. I just got off the internet doing a bunch of homework. There is a fix for this. It's made by Baker, and it completely replaces the sprocket and the compensator for $500. And really, things they've done to it is in the back there is like major oil holes with spin fins for the lubricant. They say that's the problem. It just needs more lubricant. But I did find the manual. I ordered a manual. It ain't here yet, but I did get on the internet and I was able to find just part of the service manual for the primary, and I need a T70 torque socket, so I got to go get that for sure. And I got to get a big old huge 2-inch socket, and then some snap ring pliers. So I'll get back with you when I get the tools, but I'm going to disassemble it just so I know I can do it. All right? Later. Hey, my brothers. It has been a disappointing day. I have purchased the T70 Torx wrench, of course, and got it local auto parts, AutoZone. It is a good Duralast, and it is hardened, and it's a good tool. $15 for that bad boy. But after an hour on the internet, I can find all the information on this, everything I need to know to pull it off, and thrust washers and thrust bearings and everything is there. However, I could find nothing on removing the clutch basket for a hydraulic clutch. Nothing for a 103 clutch basket. I couldn't believe it. So from what I can see, there is 2 snap rings, the inner, like in here, and there's an outer here. No nut or anything that I can see yet. Like I said, I've ordered my manual, but it hasn't come yet, my service manual. It's supposed to be delivered Friday to my work and didn't show up. It is a CD, complete service manual for my bike, year, make, model. So I can print out any page I want or print out the whole 300 pages, whatever I want to do. But it has been a disappointing day. So what I will be doing tomorrow is I will be cutting my wedge to fit so I can pull things apart to lock the two gears together. I will be using this piece of birch, and I will copy exactly what Harley sells for 60 bucks, right? So I'll be cutting it 7 1/4 inch long, 1.5 inch wide, chamfer on either end, and I'll be able to put the, in between and unlock that right-hand thread. There ain't no nut, but you can see this might be a special tool. See? Here and here. So I'm going to be posting this video. Maybe somebody will have a idea. I haven't got my service manual yet, but I did be able to get the manual that tells me all about this, but not that. Also, I've heard a rumor that if you pull this clutch basket off, there's a bearing in there that you cannot reuse. It's a one and done. And it takes a hydraulic or a standard press to put it in. So we'll find out, won't we? But all in all, the primary area looks very good. And there is no slop. And from what I can figure out right now, there is a $500 fix. And the $500 fix is just lubricating holes and fins. Plus, they replace sprocket and the compensator. Back in here, you can see, that is the stator. That is the actual hub that holds the magnets, and inside is the stator. That's how it charges your battery. And this compensator is what is needed for the pulse of the engine. Disappointing day, my brothers and sisters. One thing does look good. It looks like I'll be able to do everything I need to do without pulling the complete primary case off. Love you. I'm mellow. Had a few beers. Time to think. I'm going to spend some time with the woman. Might chase her around a couple times, not sure. But anyway, love you guys. Right on. Later. What's up, brothers? So, after a disappointing day and a few beers, good dinner, watched 3 episodes of season 2 of the Mayans on the Fire Stick. Mama went to bed and I'm out here having my last smoke. So my manual comes Monday, I would assume, and I'll be able to really get into it. But in the meantime, tomorrow, I will start on getting the bike ready for the rocker lockers. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch hands here. I gotta pull both rocker covers off, right? And get the rocker boxes off, so top dead center, cylinders, all kinds of stuff going on. But lots of stuff to remove, right? It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, you know, all kinds of things to get off. And I even have to remove the front end stabilizer there, right? In the meantime, everything I take apart, I'm going to be replacing with brand new chrome Allen heads. Actually, I'm looking for acorn heads. I would love to see those. I'm still looking for those. Tank's got to come off, seat's got to come off, battery got to be redone and everything, all that stuff. And then I understand that there's a trick to getting the rear rocker box off and rocker cover, because look, there ain't no room there. So I understand we have to remove the front or the rear, I'm not sure yet, motor mount, so you can actually move the engine to get that rear rocker box, rocker cover, rocker box off, to put in a $14 kit to lock those rockers, right? So that's the next thing. The other thing is, ever since Harley Davidson put on my 14-inch apes, right, I haven't had my nacelles, as some people call them, or my spots, as some people call them, to come on. That one there and that one there. So I got to fix that too. So I still got the battery hooked up. Probably shouldn't do that, but you know, going to do it. I'll do it next time. I'll fire it up. Not fire it up, just turn the power on. I only got the one headlight. And my spot switch here, see, won't turn them on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the fairing off and figure out what's going on, what Harley did to not make my spots come on ever since I put on the apes. So I went back to Harley and complained about 4 months later when my buddy said, hey, your spots ain't coming on. And they said, yeah, I'll bring it in. We'll check it out. So I didn't ever do it. Now it's been almost a year and a half. So I'll be doing that also. So we're going to get into some electrical and all kinds of good stuff here. And then, of course, I'll put this on a video on my channel. It'll be all smooth and edited and everything. But, brothers, wish me luck. And have a great evening. I want this done by next weekend. So I'm looking at between $200 and $300, maybe $350 in tools and parts, depending on what I got to do. I think $200 should do it. Good night, my brothers. Have a great night. I will catch you on the rebound. Later. Okay. I found out a lot more information. All right, so here's the dealio. The hydraulic clutch, you do not adjust. The only thing that you do is you put an indicator on it and you make sure that it is disengaging the proper 86 thousandths. That's why there is no jam nut here. That's what's confused me so much. There's no jam nut here. This snap ring just comes out. Then I pull the backing plate out for the clutch, which actually actuates the clutch. And inside there is the retaining nut. So now I can continue. Here is, oh boy, if I get it out, how do already tried to jam this in there once. Oh yeah, if I just get my handy dandy, find out where I put it real quick. Yeah. Alright, I gotta find my T70 wrench here. The T70 socket, I put it somewhere. Oh man, come on, really? Okay. Well, I found out exactly what's going on here. Took me a little while, but I did find a complete manual, service manual on the internet, believe it or not, this morning. I printed the whole thing out, not thinking that it's actually 2 pages per in the book, so it had to pay it out single pages. It came out to be about that thick. I mean, just huge. But anyway, here's the deal. There is no adjusting jam nut here because it's a hydraulic clutch. There is no adjusting on the hydraulic clutch. It's made to fit, made to work. The only thing that you do is when you have to work on the other side where the master cylinder is, or do anything, or to replace the clutch, you just put an indicator, a drop indicator or a travel indicator right here, and you just make sure that the clutch is actuating 86 thousandths minimum. That's it. So there's just snap ring in here that comes out, and behind this plate, which is the clutch actuating plate, which has a nice little bearing in there and everything else, comes right out, and then the retaining nut for the clutch, which is a left-handed thread, is in behind this. So that's what it's all about. Figured it out finally. So now I made my homemade locking tool here. So I'm going to get it locked in there. I went out and got me a big ass breaker bar. So basically, I'm going to just use this for a second to help me get my locking mechanism in there. This is basically what Harley sells you for 60 bucks, but it's a little nicer looking. This feels like it's into it. Maybe. There we go. Try that, huh? Okay. So I'm going to try to break this freaking thing loose. Here we go. It's supposed to only be torqued at 140 pounds. There it goes. Okay. That broke it loose. Now that I have my service manual, I'm much more comfortable with what I'm doing. And they use red Loctite on this. So that's probably why it's really good. Okay, since I got that loose, we will now, when I've got some real snap ring pliers, we'll leave that lock nut place in there. Oh, I gotta go internal. So this thing just switches over. Okay. Okay, now I'm internal. Right, yeah. Okay, this is gonna be motherfucker. What? wasn't that bad, was it? Look at that. Get the right tools, look what happens. Everything comes together, right? So far, I've spent about 90 bucks in tools. But I want to be able to work on Harleys anyway, so. Okay, this looks perfect. Not an issue on the snap ring. Now this should just come right out. And it does, look at that. Okay, perfect. All right, now you'll notice a nice bearing in there. And you'll notice that the shaft is not sticking out. The standard clutch, you can just pull this shaft right out. Well, it doesn't come out on this end. It comes out on the other end if you ever have to take it out, as far as I know. So there you go. There is the clutch actuating backing plate. Bearing looks perfect. Not an issue. Clean, very good. So, not an issue there. Now in here is the retaining nut. It is a left-handed thread. And it should be, that's a little sloppy, 1 1/4. Do I have 1 1/8? Maybe I'm gonna go get 1 1/8. It's just a little sloppy. Be right back. Well, of course I don't have 1 1/8, so I think this will work because this is only torqued to like 40 to 60 foot-pounds, I think. I'll just see how it feels. If it feels funky, I'll stop and go get it. Okay. Got to do the locking mechanism the opposite direction now. So we got to go this way now. Okay. Gosh darn it, rather, we should be able to lock it a little bit. Oh, and it came loose. Look at that. All right. Oh, drag. Well, that's why you're supposed to remove your oil pan when you're done. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue with breaking this loose. Okay, it's coming right off. It's a little wobbly in there because, well, I'll go get the right socket and go buy one for torquing. Okay, so that is done. I'll get my 1/2-inch ratchet real quick. Sorry. Okay. Handy dandy. Might have to put the locking thing back in here. Let's see. Now you can see how that compensator works. Okay, so that's hand. Loose, so I can just take it off. And then left-handed thread here. And away we go. The clutch retaining nut. Okay, I'm going to leave that there because I don't want it to fall off. So they recommend, get rid of this oil pan. Put it in there. Don't step on it. They recommend that you take off the assembly together. Which would be, I'm going to set it right on this bad boy. This is what they also recommend. I went and just bought this from Walmart. It's really a cutting board, but you can use it for all kinds of parts. So, here we go. Let's get this off. And there it is. Okay. I'll set this there for a minute. I get a Loctite on it. Just for a sec. And it's going to slide off. Oh, there it goes. Perfect. Okay. Everything in here looks perfect. There's no metal shavings. There's nothing in there. It's just perfect. So this slides right off. There's your compensator, part of your compensator right there. You know what I did notice? On two of the very elliptical, top of the side, or right on the end of the elliptical there, there's a dent. There's a dent in that one, but it just might be casting and stuff like that, part of the machining process, putting it in a box or something, but they don't look new. That definitely looks old, but there's part of the compensator. Now this are the Belleville washers. Here's the difference between this, by the way, is a Screaming Eagle. When they went to the 103s, they went to the Screaming Eagle compensator. This compensator is different because the Bellevilles are on the outside. Okay, and these Bellevilles are what gives it the oomph so it doesn't slop around. You get one, and you have two opposite directions. You can see that the Bellevilles are beveled. So two of them together make a spring. And then the big ones in the back are the same way. Two of them, Bellevilles opposite each other. In the standard 96 cube, the Bellevilles are actually in the hub. There's an opening here, and there's three little pings. They ping that over, ping it over, ping it over, so they can't come out in assembly or in disassembly. And that's the fix for the 96. They take out the small Belleville, this one, and they put in an extra Belleville opposite direction here, which gives you the same distance because they're taking this one out, but gives it more oomph, and it quiets everything down on the 96. But this is a 103 Screaming Eagle, so I don't know where the freaking noise is coming from. So I'm going to set the Bellevilles down here just a little bit, keep them in the same. Now this is the spline gear that drives the compensator from the shaft of the stator. And it looks like what they've done is they've marked it. That's probably why they do that. They mark it so you know which direction it goes. But I do have the full service manual now, so I'm really happy with it. So now, that stator is supposed to be able to come out. But it's got 2 holes here. There's a magnet, these are magnets, so it's really strong, and what they're saying is it normally hits right here. So what the guys do, I could tell if you were to get it out, it'd stop right there. So what they do, we don't have to get into it, so I don't have to do that. But what they do is they go ahead and they pull off the inner primary, and then they have access to pull this thing right off, the stator right off. So that's it. I've got no reason. Everything looks perfect. Now I'll inspect all the parts really good, but everything looks perfect. There's not an issue of why it's making noise. I mean, the primary is perfect. The only issue I could think of is maybe getting that Hayden. What's this? Oh, look at. I found a piece of metal. There is a piece of metal right there. There is a piece of metal right there. Sure is. It is a piece of metal. And it's a pretty good piece, actually. Oh, by the way, I put new clean gloves on. Well, cleaner. So, like I say, these gloves are fantastic. See, I can handle this little thing and look at it without even having to deal with it. I think most gloves can't do that with, unless they're medical style gloves. But there is a piece of metal right there. No idea where it's from. I'm going to set it right there. But you know what? No, it's not from here. Not from there. There is a piece of metal there. So now I think I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to take that primary off. The inner primary. I mean, there's another 60 bucks in fucking, excuse my language, another 60 bucks in seals, because these 4 bolts, these bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those, I believe it's maybe just these 4, but it might be that one too. They're one and done. You pull that thing, goes off, you go buy the kit, it comes with 4 new ones because there's special seals in here. And once they squeeze, they're done. All right. At least we got the situation solved. We know what's going on. All right, man. I gotta keep going. I'll catch you back in just a little while. Freaking drag, man. Well, like I say, there is a fix for this. It's a $500 Baker complete, brand new sprocket and compensator. Right out the money. Jeez. Later. Everything looks perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. Everything is clean. Beautiful. So I have no clue what's going on here, where the noise is coming from. I will share something with you. Here is that, there's that piece of metal. Well, I'll show you where it came from. So that's probably why I'm going to pull off the inner primary, just to make sure everything's okay. But check this out. I'm going to try to see if I can make this, see this. If you were to look, see that ragged edge of the casting. See it? They didn't even deburr it correctly. It's like it came out of the casting, put it in the machine, machined it, didn't even deburr the ragged edges of the casting there. That's what that piece is. Right? You know, it came off from right around in there somewhere. So anyway, guess I'm going to have to pull off the inner primary later. Okay, well, we're going to remove the inner primary now. Get it done. It cost me an extra $60 to do it, but at least I'll know for sure everything's okay. Alright, so anyway, you have to go in the back, other side, and remove the starter bolts. And I also have a special clamp or bracket that goes on the starter for this chrome cover here, this chrome shield, that I had to also remove because, you know, I had to have the pipe coming this way where everybody else goes underneath, but it's caused me more trouble actually. So basically it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts, right? And we'll pull it out. Probably might have to bump that starter a little bit just to tap it out. And go grab my soft mallet. Yes, sir. You know, it has worked out. Having the right tools makes 100% of the difference. And like I said, I spent about $90 in tools. But I have them now. So that's good. Oh, and I did disconnect the battery now. I didn't want to forget to do that, but I did do it. Alright, so we'll start on the inside. And work the outside. Pop this one, let's see. Like I said, these bolts are one and done. When you buy the kit, it'll come with all the seals, this seal, main seal, 4 or 5 new bolts, O-ring for the starter, and a gasket. Oh, one thing too, I don't know if you can see it, but this gasket right here is white. So now you can't see it, but it is white. So now they sell a black one so it matches. You don't see that white anymore. So I'm going to pull this bolt out so you can see this seal. Okay, they probably use blue Loctite. They use, okay. See that seal? That's one and done. So you get 4 new ones, 5 new ones. Set those right there. Ain't that important now. Was going to get my drill out to rapid these things out, but I didn't. So to make the video, I'll speed this part up. And this should slide right out here. And it is the starter that's holding us up, so it's kind of, there it goes. There it goes. Come on, baby. The starter has to go back. All right, coming out. I did remove the, there it goes, okay. And here it comes. There she blows. Oops. I'm folding that in there. I missed something here? What did I miss here? I thought that would slide right out. You gotta be kidding me. I thought that'd slide right out. So obviously this don't slide right out. Put this back on the bearing so it's Well, son of a gun. Just put one in here to hold it. Gosh darn it, really? Little bastard. Sorry. So I thought that would slide. What's holding that thing in there? Thought that would come right out. Well, if I figure that out. Well, I didn't want to take off that linkage. You son of a gun, you. Okay, I'll be back. Gotta figure this one out. Alright, well, turned out you just have to take the top of the linkage off here. Okay. And then I can mount, oh yeah, put the bolts in again. This is stabilized when I was doing that. Okay, so now the inner primary should come right off. Here. Bolt in there. Oh, there we go. All right, there she blows. Okay, now I see how it works with a bonehead. Right there. It won't come out. Well, I won't, oh yeah, it wouldn't come out that way either. Why won't it slide out that way? I wonder what the heck. Must be something in there holding it. But here's where that piece of metal came from. This ragged edge here. Probably from assembly. Bearing looks good. So you will have to replace this seal, or I will. It'll come with this seal, the kit, and the 5 new bolts, and a new O-ring here. So I can clean it all up and get it ready to rock and roll. So now that, since that's off, we'll set this in a safe place for now. And what I want to do is I want to remove that stator hub. See what it looks like in there. So I'm going to put on my mechanics gloves real quick. Of course I'm missing one. Alright, so darn it. Alright, so let's see if we can. Now this has got a strong magnet pull to it. So you don't want it to slam back. Do with my glove. Damn it. Oh, come on. Here it comes. Son of a gun, that is son of a gun. I'll be right back. Okay, I got it. I tell you, it was son of a gun. So that's the stator hub. See, and it's got the magnets all the way around it. And there's the stator itself. It charges your battery. So what I ended up doing was just cleaning this shaft really good. Put a little WD-40 on it and just worked it off. But I tell you, these magnets are strong. And it just wants to pull it right back in. So that looks good. Everything looks perfect. There's not an issue. So, I mean, transmission, beautiful, you know, not a growl, it's smooth as baby's butt. So I'm hoping it's just a tensioner. But I wanted to get this off to check for any metal or anything, and it looks as clean as a whistle. Not an issue. Well, it goes. It was on just like that. Those holes were almost perfectly perpendicular, so it'll go on the same way. And there it says, caution, no sharp blows, so I know. You know what I think I'll do is I'll just put a little mark there. Right? I'm gonna do a little sketch right there with an arrow. And you'll know. Probably doesn't have to go back on the same way it came off. I'm sure it can make it bounce close enough. There you go. Tell you this job. So now parts. I had to go buy all the gaskets and the parts and all that kind of stuff. And I got the Loctite. I got the tools. Got everything. Except for the gaskets. Okay, man. Catch you later. Moving right along. Productive day. Much better than yesterday. Catch you in a little bit. Hey, brothers. October 13th, 9 o'clock. I just finished having a lovely dinner with my wife. And I'm wore out. I am tired. It's shower and bed and big day tomorrow at work. Got the prayers coming out of the company to come lay down the law. So anyway, primary is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Not a score, not a mark. Not anything that you would think that would be something be wrong. Brush washer is perfect. 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 Oil holes, perfect, perfect, perfect. Everything's perfect. Perfect. Only issue is maybe a tensioner. Not an issue with the primary. So the only thing you might want to say is a main bearing. Well, I don't think so. Crank bearing? I don't think so. There's something else. It's the maybe the 103 Baker kit that does it, but nah, I'm not sure. There's nothing wrong with the primary. Runs fine. It's perfect condition. You see, I'm getting ready to pull the tank off. Look at what was under the dash. See that? Unbelievable, right? Pull the tank off. You're going to do the rocker lockers next. Some issues with the pressure in the fuel line, which is supposedly at 58 pounds right now. Let's say when you disconnect it with this quick disconnect right there, it's going to spray all over the place. You know what the manual says? It says to disconnect. We already have, but I've disconnected this is the fuel pump. This is the, what do you call it? Freaking wear your earplugs and plug in there and freaking earphones and your communication system. So I say disconnect that start the bike up and let it run for 3 minutes till it runs out of gas. Really? Then that will bleed the pressure out. Oh, gosh. So I looked it up, and this is not, ain't that big a deal. So we'll see. Tank's coming off next, brothers. But I can tell you, there's nothing wrong with the primary situation on my bike. Nothing at all. It's absolutely perfect. There's not even a wear on any part. I mean, minimal wear. Minimal on that, right? So the Hayden might help, but I will be indicating with an indicator and drop indicator, test indicator. I'll be checking axial and radial run out as I put it back together, but I don't foresee anything. What a trip. There is nothing wrong with this primary. Nothing at all. It's perfect condition. Like brand new. So, we shall see. Catch you later. My brothers and sisters, I just want to show you this. That's my 2014 Harley Davidson Touring Model Service Manual. To buy this from Harley Davidson is $168. I got the disc for $14. And of course, when I printed it out, you couldn't do double copying each page in sequence, double-sided. So when I printed it out, it was that high, about that high. And I took it to work today and did the double-sided, and it's only that high. Took one of my old freaking vendor's binders, made a copy of the front cover, taped it on. $168 complete Harley Davidson 2014 Touring Model Service Manual for $6 in paper and $14 for the absolute true service manual sanctioned Harley Davidson CD. Later. Well, we're back at it again. This time I got my camera hooked up a lot better, so give it a shot. But we're going to start on the rockers and put the rocker lockers in today. Make it happen, Captain. Get right with you. Okay, well, I'm back. I was able to remove the rear rocker box quite easily, actually. I didn't have any trouble at all. It worked perfectly. I thought I was really going to have a hard time, but it took me about a minute just to get it out of the rocker box. And this is either rocker box cover or rocker boxes right here. I did completely disassemble them. They marked where everything went, of course, so I wouldn't do it backwards. And I cleaned the pins and inspected them. They were perfectly perfect. There was no issues at all, not even wear mark. Here's the breather assembly. Harley Davidson says it's supposed to replace this whole breather assembly, but nobody's saying that you have to do that. So at the worst, I'll probably might replace the gasket, but that's it. Cleaned it up. Now I'm ready to install the rocker lockers. I did have a little bit of trouble when I took these pins out, putting them back in. This slid in just as easy as pie until it got to the next bore. So that tells me that these bores are not perfectly aligned. Harley's probably got a tolerance that's more than I would like. But I did have a little trouble getting the groove, the radius groove on there. Went in no problem. Sorry about that. I bumped my camera, made it go off. Okay, there's one. Looks clean too. So we'll do the next one. Tapered end. Tell they're tapered, no problem. Okay, we'll do that. Nut. Goes in with no problem. Perfect. Okay. Very nice. Rocker lockers are in. Feels good. Feels beautiful, actually. And I'm going back to install it later. Okay. Well, I've installed the rocker lockers in the rear cylinder first. Like I said, I had no trouble getting this out at all. Just had to lift up the bolts and keep them flush on the bottom of the rocker box, and then the rocker support plate, as they call it, and it came right out. Now you'll notice that there's a gap right there and right there. So basically you just tighten your bolts a little bit so you feel them snug, a little tension on them, and then you wait 5 minutes for the lifters to bleed back down. And it only takes about 5 minutes, and you'll notice it when you come back to torque it a little bit more. They'll bleed right down. It goes right flush. So looking good, brothers. I'm on my 5 minutes right now for the second 5 minutes, and it's working exactly as they said. So cool. Later. Okay, as I wanted to show you, this is the one I had to repair because I messed it all up, and this is what happens when you don't do them right. 2 hours to get that bad boy out and clean everything up, start over, and another kit, and reinstall it. So make sure you get that radius on that pin exactly right before you put those rocker lockers in. And now we can install it. Hey, what's up, brothers? So it's been some time, but look, got her all done, right? And I just want to make a comment about this breather assembly here. Went to Harley Davidson to get the new gaskets, right? And you know, the book said you must rebuild these if you pull them off. So I said, well, they look pretty good. So the inside pieces, of course. So I went to Harley to get the gaskets, and guess what? It comes complete with the diaphragm, the filter, everything, for 16 bucks each. Right there, brothers. So it's brand new breathers on there, man. I got the rocker lockers in. You saw what I did to the one. That was it right here. And it's all fixed and everything. Everything is beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. This top end should be quiet as a mouse, okay? I'm so happy with it. Everything went together. There was no issue getting this out, this rocker box and the rocker support plate. Everything checked out. All of the clearances inside the rockers. There's a brass bushing on each side, perfect, not even aware. They were perfectly within tolerance. So I am so happy the way the top end came together. Okay, I did learn something else too. When you turn over the motor to get the cam and the rockers and the lifters, lifters, on what they call the base circle of the cam, you use the other cylinder right after the compression stroke, right when you start seeing these overlap, open, and then it will close, the intake will close. Right when it closes, boom, and then this starts to open. So right when they're both kind of moving like this side will be right loose on the base circle of the cam. Both of these rockers will be loose and ready to go when you pull them off. It worked perfectly. I had it backwards actually, but also I wanted to comment, that is the new Hayden primary chain tensioner. Everything went back together beautiful. Just fantastic, right? There is no slop. There is no slop in the compensator sprocket. That is the new God, why do I say that? Primary chain tensioner, right? Right there. Okay, fits right in. Inside here, there are two springs, a small coil spring and then a bigger one around it. It is an automatic adjuster because it uses springs. And the cam, or the primary chain, I don't know why I keep saying cam. The primary chain is perfect. Now watch. See if I can make that. You can see it move. Okay. Looks good. So that's the new Hayden primary tensioner right there that everybody's raving about. It quiets everything down. So I'm really happy with the way everything went back together. Tomorrow, I got to pull the fairing off because my spots don't work ever since they put my bars on at Harley. So I think what happened is they just didn't connect something. So I should be good to go there. But I'm very happy, man. So far, so good. It's about ready to roll, you know. What I'm going to do is, and I've seen this done on videos, once I get it all together, you know, there's oil in the motor, oil in the tranny. So what I'm going to do is lube this up real good a little bit, and then I can actually fire this motor up with this exposed. And you'll be able to see how that cam tensioner works. Can't do it for very long, but you'll be able to see how it works. I'm excited. It's coming together, brothers. I've learned a lot, and there's one other thing I want to show you. Look at all the tools I bought. Look. Big torque wrench, small inch-pound torque wrench, assembly lube, my ashtray. Chrome polish still sitting there. But I tell you right there, dudes and brothers and all my good friends out there, half of those tools are brand new to get this job done. Love you, man. Back at it tomorrow. Get back at you later.